Perfection is imperfection. How about that?
That is one thing people say.
You sound really good. I think I need to pull this up.
Yeah, loosen it a little bit first.
This one?
No, that one. Loosen that.
This one's really hard to work.
Yeah, and now lift it. And now tighten it.
Okay, that's sounding a lot better.
There you go.
Now bring this down. Technical difficulties.
Now tighten that.
Yeah, I think
All
we're
right.
good. We're golden.
Go ahead and tighten that a little more. It's wanting
Which
to-
one? This one?
This one's wanting to sag.
Oh, this way.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
We'll fiddle.
Hello.
We'll fiddle with it as we go.
Yeah. Did you want to clap?
Hey, we're so happy to be here.
Yeah, this is behind the scenes.
Yep.
There's always, anyway, first of all, let's just say welcome. Welcome, everybody.
To another episode of
Another episode.
Everything
And Nothing.
Good to be back.
Everything and nothing. Makes my mind go numb.
Yeah.
Expansion and disappear. So it's been a couple weeks. As always, life is eventful and happening. And I was telling Dane earlier that it's interesting because when we do these podcasts, it really opens my mind and I start thinking. And there's also even a synchronicity that happens, like I'll start to see more of what we were talking about in behaviors of people, or or just storylines or signs even. And then it's like halfway through the week, like something shifts and then a new concept starts coming in.
Yeah.
That leads me to what my next share is going to be.
Well, it's what you mentioned last time a little bit about how consciousness affects the reality and your observer affects the reality. So the fact that you have now put something into your consciousness, you start to see it and manifest it and make it real in your own. It's like when you buy a new car, now all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the road because it's like, oh, now it's in your conscious.
Yeah, it's in your reality field. Yeah. So I really enjoy this, and just to back up too, I'll say it's interesting because we're not quite settled into our new studio. So there's a lot of I'm constantly like, oh, where does my mic go? And it takes us the first time it took us 40 minutes to set up, and I think we're down to about 30 minutes now.
We're getting better and better. We're getting better and better.
And I'm actually becoming quite the good techie.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to put this stuff all together. Never thought that would be on my resume.
No. You were the theater star. I always was the techie. I got all the way back in drama class. I was like, let me run the lights. I don't want anybody to look at me.
Yeah, and I was always like, I want to be on stage.
Yep.
But with that came a lot of fear. It wasn't like, anyway, that's a whole other thing. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, how many topics can we topic today?
I don't know, but anyway. I think, I know today's your day to go first.
It is. So, I'll have to jump in there. So what would you like
to bring to the table?
Well, I was thinking about thinking, and I decided we should talk about talking. Communication.
Oh how nerd.
It's a good topic. I would argue that communication is one of the most vital, important, useful skills you can develop here as part of society, as a human on this planet. Mm-hmm. Communication is key. Communication is king. Communication creates all opportunity. And it also gets us into a whole lot of problems. A bit of mess here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? How would you define or look at communication?
Wow. Hello. It's kind of like the basis of humanity. It's interesting because it's kind of like when we think of communication, I think it's the first thing we go to are words. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Like
language,
like how you use it, how you structure your sentence, how but really communication can be broken down into also like what tone of voice are you using? Mm-hmm. What's your body language? Where's a pause? what, communication through actually silence. I mean, there's a lot of ways to communicate, I feel. So it's something that, as an author and someone who loves to write, like I've had this love-hate relationship with, because it can be overwhelming. Communication can be overwhelming, and you can be misunderstood and misinterpreted. And I think communication is very much connected to your emotionality, what you say when you're feeling angry, and maybe you use those same words when you're feeling sad, would have a very different impact on a person. So when I say it's complex and confusing me sometimes, is like when I'm writing a story, like there's a million different ways I can communicate a story. Is it going to be from the point of view of a piece of grass, or is it going to be from the child, or is it going to be from the history in the past, or is it going to be a fantastical story? It's limitless.
Writing is interesting. Writing is communication. In my case, writing is communication with my future self. Yeah. It's a way to put on page something that I think that I can then look at immediately, or not so immediately in the future, and get a second take, a second evaluation of what my thought process is and how that affects me. You also brought up an interesting point, communicating through silence, which I like a lot. Pauses do say a lot.
Yeah.
As you just have seen there. But
let's pause.
But really, communication through silence is like, I think it's even more base level, below words, below the silence, below facial expression. Communication is really just any and all interaction between two conscious entities. Like even just sitting in a room silently with somebody, there's some form of communication going on. Whether it's I put my headphones on, it's like I'm saying I don't want to talk to you, read a book, it's like I'm in my own world. You give a little glance, check each other out when you get on a bus or whatever. There's always brief amounts of communication happening. And a lot of it's internal, but it also leads to pretty much any opportunity in your life that you ever are given or come across, whether that is a career or a job opportunity. Come from communication and finding the right employee or the right person, or from the other side, the right employees and the right people to help you. Whether it's starting a family, obviously communication is paramount in that, and often goes awry, as I have seen and as everybody here has seen. But really all the milestones that we want to achieve in life only come about through interacting, through communicating, and through really mastering and honing that skill.
Yeah. Well, and I find communication lately, and we touched on this when we first started doing podcasts. I don't remember what the topic was, but I was going through a level of recognizing I was having a lot of communication breakdowns and thinking about where that was coming from, because I feel like since I've been texting more and more and more and more, and I've gotten more lazy, there is a part of me that is leaving out huge pieces of information. And so there's a lot of misunderstandings happening with me and people. And I don't think it's just me, I think it's the world. And perfect example is like I noticed this morning with Jim, we were talking about, or yesterday he had, gone to get me a protein shake. And
please carry on.
And he came in and said, "Oh yeah, Destiny, this woman said hello, and she was there today, and but he had left out a vital piece of information that he wasn't talking about the yoga class that he had just come from. He was talking about the smoothie shop. And so there was like a huge gap. of information. And I find that that happens to me too, where I am like dropping into a story without really laying the context, and people are going like, what the hell are you talking about? Instead of saying, I was at the store. I was buying groceries and I saw so-and-so and we started talking about XYZ. And in that conversation, this was mentioned, right? And there's like all these steps that I find are just being lost and dropped out. And it's almost like I'm speaking in another, I feel like we're moving into communicating in another language. It feels very cryptic, like LOL and you know.
Language evolves for sure.
Excuse me. Yeah. So
speaking of communication or miscommunication, we forgot to turn the mics on. So we were practicing our miscommunication with the audience there.
That's hilarious.
Maybe the camera audio, you'll be able to hear what happened before.
I think you probably will.
It'll be a little janky.
Yeah. So the first part, turn up the volume. The
Exactly.
second part,
Turn us
it
down
down. Yeah. Like I said, we're getting our studio together.
You brought up a good point with your smoothie story, though. A lot of communication is based on mutual understanding.
Yes.
Whether that's, shared cultural stories or movies or, common experiences that we all go through and live through, common upbringings and backgrounds. We understand language through a shared lexicon, a shared pool of knowledge of what those words mean, and we draw from that experience, that context. And without it, language does break down, which I think is why, culture and shared experiences and community coming together is so important. And, I do find myself worrying sometimes that people are growing very, very distant and very secluded, cloistered, and apart from each other. And so that's one of the reasons I find putting myself here, practicing speaking, putting myself out in front of an audience is important, just to continue to refine this craft and to keep sharpening this blade.
Yeah. Well, and I think another part of that, there's 2 points I want to make. The first point is that, maybe 3 points, slow down. So that's one of the things I've been doing recently is I really am trying to slow everything down. And when I'm communicating and I'm getting frustrated with Jim or somebody because I don't understand what they're saying, or I'm annoyed because I'm like, okay, you just missed like half that story and you want me to know what you're talking about, I try to slow down. And then the second piece is learning how to inquiry, instead of being upset with miscommunication, because it happens a lot. It seems like it happens a lot more than it used to me. I'm being more mindful, and when I'm talking to my significant other or a friend or whatever, and I'm like, and they're telling a story and I'm like, the whole plot has been forgotten or, not even, what's the word, addressed. Wait, what are you talking about? What's the context? Like I'm trying to get to, trying to bridge that communication,
Trying to find the core that's really being expressed.
And just how can I be a part of helping that communication be more connected rather than being annoyed because it's not, Yeah. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that communication is can also be intuitive, and it can be a heart connection. Sometimes I feel like language and words get in the way. And what came to mind when you were talking, I was reminded of when I was 21, I don't know, I went to Europe with my mother, and we were visiting Prague. It was Czechoslovakia at the time, but Czech Republic, and visiting our relatives because she wanted to go back and do some genealogy. And we did not speak a lot of Czech, and our cousin did not speak a lot of English, which we didn't know. We thought we had better language skills. But it was this huge adventure. I mean, it was very frightening. It's when the communist rule was there and they had barbed wire fence and machine guns. And I mean, it was quite the ordeal as a 21-year-old to go and have this life experience. But what was interesting is that even though we didn't speak the same language, there was so much communicated. And when we first got there, there was fear. We were afraid of each other. And my mom didn't know it, but our family member was a communist, and it was a big to-do no-no, kind of by that day. For me, I could care less. I was like, well, whatever, he's my family. This is a cool guy. But what was interesting is at the end of our 2 days there, I think it was 3 days, we learned how to communicate through our heart and sign language, and and he took us to the football soccer stadium, and he was so proud and he was so happy to show it to us, and and so we connected through emotions.
Yeah.
And at the end he was like very cryptic, like, we know speak same language basically, but heart is one. And it's an experience that has lasted with me for my whole life, that sometimes communication can be the barrier because we get so up in our head about saying the right thing and blah, 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 and being intelligent and getting my facts right and the spelling and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I think it's just an obstacle that keeps us separate, that keeps us enemies, that keeps us arrogant, ignorant, and I don't know. So I feel like sometimes that stillness piece, that stop and observe and listen piece with communication is so important. And to know that there's a lot of other ways to communicate.
Yeah.
And if one pathway is closed, look for another.
We build a barrier of words sometimes,
Yeah.
it seems.
Oh, yeah.
A barrier of words rooted in ideas which are seemingly clashing, but ultimately generally rooted in the same good if you get down far enough, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have moments, I don't know about you, but I have moments where I definitely feel like language gets in the way for me. I feel like the communication piece is like, there's so many experiences and feelings I've had as a human being. And sometimes I just find myself going back to these dead words that have been used a million times, like magnificent or awesome or great or feels good, like, and it doesn't match sometimes my human experience, but I'm just pulling from these same old words that are used for a million different things.
Yeah, yeah.
And so sometimes, I don't know. I like to use more than words, like maybe art or song or...
That reminds me, one of my most potent communication experiences maybe. Back in grade school, we learned a little bit of Spanish. And then high school, I took a little bit more Spanish. So I was like, I'm kind of brushed up. Took 1 or 2 college courses in Spanish. I'm all right,
Yeah.
Let's go to Spain. Let's see what Spain's all about. So I bought a one-way ticket to Spain and took a bicycle over there, and very quickly realized that I didn't really speak any Spanish. I spent like a day or two trying to find my hostel to no avail. I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to sleep, so I ended up just sleeping in some bushes in the park for a couple nights.
I remember
And
that.
I remember looking for food and like going to these beautiful markets, but I was like, I don't know how to ask for any of this. So I went to McDonald's and just said numero uno, and that seemed to feed me all right. But I also had brought my violin with me. So this one afternoon, I just go to the park and I'm just sitting there playing music. Mm-hmm. And people come by, and this one guy walks by and, is like, oh, I'm very, very good, very good, and keeps going. And then he comes back with a guitar and sits down, and we start playing music together.
Wow.
And we jam a little bit, and then he's like, hey, he spoke a little bit of English, luckily. Mm-hmm. If you need a place to stay, I got a spare place, a place you can crash in my apartment for the foreseeable future. So
wow,
I took him up on that.
I remember that.
And ended up staying with him and a Ecuadorian family that they were all rooming together. just out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
And so this whole idea of like emotional communication, and music is an emotional language.
Absolutely.
Musical communication, these universal communications, these universal skills, they can pay dividends, and they're worth knowing.
Yeah.
Learning music for me has been very worthwhile.
Yeah.
But there's many ways to express yourself beyond words with, you know, the heart language, like you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that story, Dane. I remember when you went through that.
That was a fun trip.
You know, and that's a perfect example of what we're talking about of, okay, you didn't know the language, but you used, your heart music language, and it pulled that person right in. And if I remember right, didn't you you take care of their son or something and barter for room and board, like you were babysitting
they didn't
a bit?
have a kid yet, but they wanted me to be a godfather of their kid, which was born. I still got to go to Ecuador and visit these people. It's been like 15, 20 years now.
That's such
Shout
a beautiful
out to Rafa,
story.
The photographer from Madrid. I know I'm never going to see you again because I don't remember your last name or where you live, but you were awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that just takes me back to, I was studying, there's an institute called the HeartMath, and the whole point of this institute is they actually study the heart and everything to do with it and the electromagnetic field it puts off, and they have found that the heart is actually way more intelligent and is more so than the brain. And I'll have to go back and read that book again. It's been quite a few years, but HeartMath Solutions, if you want to look into that. Again, it's kind of like the quantum physics theory, and it's more of the nerdy science stuff. But when I read that book, it really made sense, because I feel like a lot of times we're communicating up here from the brain because we're told that that's what's most important, and that's where true intelligence comes from. But there's a lot of new thought study about showing that actually the larger intelligence of our humanness comes from the heart intelligence. And that's challenging because it kind of goes back to that communication piece, right? Where we're like, think it out, use your words, and, you know, like, and again, everything has its place. But I know in my life, since I read that book, I have been consciously working on and how can I move more from my heart-based energy as opposed to what I think is right, and it's made my life definitely better. I will say there's a huge improvement.
And we're a culture that really is logic dominated. We're very brain centric. If you travel Latin America, which is my main experience, they're much more of a heart language culture down there, which is hard. It's hard to put into words, but you just kind of feel it.
You do.
There's a deeper sense of community, and there's a lot more just kind of raw emotions on display down there, I feel like. Yeah,
I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of talking.
A good communication.
A lot of communication.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to think. Here I go. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to heart about that.
Why don't you feel about it?
I'm going to feel about that for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, seriously. And I'm really grateful for this topic because I've been sensing in myself that I kind of need to start, again, like practicing fuller, slower communication. Instead of like the one word responses. It's like I want to get back to like, okay, let's slow down and do 2 sentences or 3, And I've resorted to using those voice messages where you record yourself, because that feels so much more true to who I am and akin. Like I can do that. I love like, hey, hi, blah, 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 but to type all that out in a text or an email just feels, oh my God, that feels like so strenuous. So, but I'm going to practice. And I will say one more thing with the communication that this has motivated me, and this is something that's been circling in my thought, is going back to old school ways. Like I've been collecting cards, and I'm ready to go back to writing cards and letters to people. Like, I want to go back to that. There's something about that, you know?
Yeah.
And I just got, I bought an ink pen when I was in Italy. And I would like to do it even old school with, like, using the ink.
Some calligraphy, fountain pen.
Yeah. My calligraphy is not very good, but that's okay.
There's something very connecting and grounding about putting ink on paper. I love it too. It's old school. It's becoming a lost art to a greater degree, but I'm going to forever write ink on paper.
Yeah. But when I get a card or something in the mail, I'm just like, oh, you know, like there's something, it's become special again because it's not the norm.
Yeah.
You
agreed.
know. But anyway, and that's and that's something I sometimes do for Christmas presents for people that have everything, is I've lately been writing a Christmas letter. And I tell them what I love about them, and maybe I send some things I wrote that remind me of them or they think they would enjoy. And that's been my gift, as opposed to, you know, buying a bunch of stuff that they can buy anything they want anyway. So a gift of the communication from the heart.
It's valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Take a quick break.
Yep. We'll
back.
see you in a minute.
Yep. We'll turn the microphones on this time.
Yeah. I have a little Star Water spritzer here today. It's cosmic flower. I love those spritzers. I'm going to do it. Ooh, that feels good. Oh my God, that smells delicious. It's an immediate energy. It's an immediate energy uplifter. That's what it does. Anyway, we're back.
Hello again.
We're back. And the sun's coming out. It's a beautiful fall day here in Portland. And I'm a little stuffy, getting over a cold, so I sound a little funny. But anyway, moving on. Are you ready?
Oh, I've been ready.
You're funny. Try not to cough. So, like I said, as the week goes on, like something shows up in my life. And what showed up for me is this, more than a word, it's like a broad stroke concept of, you know, what is it about us as human beings? And I'll say to myself that it's constantly looking at what's wrong or what's bad or what's negative, you know, what's challenging in my life, in everything, as opposed to, you know, what is working, what feels good, what solutions do I have, what, you know, like there's this thing I've been noticing, and I'll explain more later about that, but how there's this, like, I used to think it was just me that was complaining and criticizing, like, oh, that's terrible, or why that's so bad, and this is going to hell in a hasbag, and all this hurts, and, you know, and what I've come to realize is it's really a human condition, and it's almost as if it's woven into the fabric of humanity, that we have this tendency to look at what is not what we don't like, and it's prevalent in our media, our social media, on the platforms you see, you know, many times, and whatever you're looking at, a lot of times people are like showing what's wrong with Portland or the world or this or that, or it just feels like there's this impulse, or on the news, you know, like it's, you know, 90% like what's, you know, fucked up, and then 10% of like, oh, this good thing happened over here, you know. It's just, you know, so what is that? You know, do you agree with that statement? Do you feel like we're more often than not like focusing on everything that's just not working?
So
or negative?
I'm struck by the word pessimism and people's ability and wanting to complain, focus on the negative. I mean, there is a very real phrase in media, which is that, you know, what is it, like, trauma sells, bad news sells, right?
Yeah.
People want to put the bad news on the front page because it grabs attention for some reason. I know in the current day and age, I think like crime podcasts are the most popular ones, where people can just listen to stories about people getting dismembered and murdered and whatnot. There is a lot of focus on
I'm one of those people
on negativity, and there is a certain curiosity around it. I think one of the reasons might be, just off the top of my head, that we all have the ability to screw up pretty royally.
Yeah.
We all have our own dark sides and tendencies to lead the righteous path and do poorly. So I think there's a morbid fascination with the extent to which humans are capable of doing that. And I think it fascinates us partly because we're trying to understand our own capacity to do good or evil. And it's a reminder of like where things could go, where you could go if you practice making, those bad decisions over time.
Yeah.
It's also, maybe it's tied up a little bit in what we were talking about with communication and being like a very kind of cold, logic-based culture. So maybe that plays into it a little bit. Or also maybe, there's this whole question of what comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Right.
And with what belief is, with what we believe and how we act. Partially maybe it's that we're born into this matrix of negativity through news already, and so that programs us into those tendencies. That's possible also.
Yeah, like at birth. I mean, and this ties into duality for sure, right? Because just that makes me think of like from the moment we're born, you're born into your family. And wherever they are on the spectrum of, what they're focusing on or their beliefs and whatnot. But then from a very young age, like I've been noticing this a lot with my grandchildren. I watch all the shows that are out there. And from a very, very early age, it's the good guy, the bad guy. I mean, it's taught from the propaganda is like, oh, you got to kill the bad guy. The bad guy is out of control, and the bad guy wants to take everything for himself. And, and it's just like, it's put into us from a very, very young age that there has to be conflict and strife and struggle,
It's the hero's journey. It's the most basic universal story told over and over again throughout all of written history. It's also, through religion, it's also perpetuated. You're born into original sin. Like you're born evil. You're born bad. Yeah. And so what do you do about that? Well, you have to basically, believe whatever somebody tells you to believe and go through the rites and prove you're
a good person.
Your worth.
Yeah, you're worthy of God's love.
Which is a whole other topic. But also,
that's a whole other topic for sure.
It also ties into the fact that we're very... we're negative centric. To tell a kid when they're growing up that they're basically evil and they have to find their own salvation. Yeah. I mean, it also, it's also just, I'm a human and I want to get better. So let's look at and evaluate what's going wrong. Like that's
a positive
tool
aspect of that's a useful
kind of
tool.
Reflect and compare and contrast. These are the things that didn't work, so how do I get away from that? But if you're just focusing on all that negativity without any roadmap of what the positive brightness you want to move towards is, it's easy to get stuck over here, muddling around, going in circles, just, talking bad and feeling bad and seeing bad and being bad.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of nuances in that spectrum too, right? Because I think of myself, what the catalyst was for me bringing this topic today is a personal experience I had. And I think of myself as a very optimistic person. I really do. I mean, I'm not bitter. I've been through a lot of really horrific types of physical things and whatnot. And I've learned to look at the glass half full through those experiences. But I will say that I have a client recently that I was talking to about certain things. Like I did work with this person, and afterwards, was nothing but what was wrong, 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 what was wrong. And there had been all these like really amazing shifts and changes and positive things that had happened. But yet, with this glacier-sized movement of positive healing and energy, all that could be seen was the tip of the iceberg that was still fucked up. And I found myself getting super angry, and I was just like, so like exasperated, like, oh my God, I am so tired of no matter what I do, it's never good enough. It's never fixed. It's always something wrong. And then again, you hear me talk about this a lot, about how I really believe everything is inside to fix. It's not outside. It's not people out there. It's me. And so I started taking my own advice and looking as like, okay, so if this keeps happening wherever I go, all I'm seeing is people who don't appreciate or can't see the good or whatever, then what's happening inside of me? And I had this light bulb moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the same thing. All I'm doing is complaining about this client. All I'm doing is seeing the negative stuff about this client.
You're complaining about complaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing the exact same thing. It's like, and when I get on my high horse about, like, I've been having a lot of feelings about Christians lately, and I'm sorry if you're one, please, don't take this personal. I've just had a lot of situations where there's a lot of hypocrisy with the Christians that I know. I hear them go to church and say one thing, and then walking out the door behaving the opposite and feeling arrogant and better than, and it's been really hard for me to handle. I'm like, it makes my blood boil. It's like, just let me be. Like, I'm not judging, but then again, here I am. So it's that continual thing, is like catching myself and seeing where I'm seeing everything that's wrong, instead of just being like, well, this person's having their own experience and what is right. So since having that light bulb moment, I've really, really been consciously like, what's right about this moment? Like, what's right in my body? What's not hurting in my body right now? So I'm like, oh, that hurts. And oh, this is happening now. And like, what isn't? What's right?
Switching from pessimism to gratitude.
Yeah.
It's a powerful move.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my life, 20, 15, a lot of years, probably since I was about 18, 19 years old, really fascinated, really studying, really looking at the world, looking at the politics, looking at the power players, looking at the groups that have some sort of influence, and trying to figure out what they're trying to do and who's doing what and what the motivations are, and what are the depths of depravity going on behind these closed doors and in these basement, eyes wide shut parties that may or may not happen. I tend to think that they definitely have and do happen from time to time.
Yes.
And I got very into trying to figure out the darkness, trying to understand the darkness. And I think a lot of it was my own quest to understand my own darkness. Yeah. My own, demons that had been created through traumas growing up, or that I was born with, or whatever. I don't know where these things come from or where these inner conflicts stem from. But I was searching for my own limitations and my own depths, and trying to heal that. And at the same time, trying to question, why is all of this evil and malaise in the world? And as a human being, how do I heal that? Yeah. Which I think is, as of a 39-year-old, has been an impossible task to figure out as of now. And what I did find, through all the deception and all the different layers of different stories and different filters through different people's perspectives, darkness is a real thing. Yes. There obviously is evil. Yeah. There obviously are mistakes that you make that you can reflect and dwell on, and mistakes that humanity has made and is making that we can look at and dwell on. And we can focus on that. We could focus all day on that. We can think about that all day, all year.
Yeah.
And
forever.
I did a long time.
Yeah.
And I've come to the realization eventually that now that I understand that that's there, I don't really want to or feel the need to focus on it as much. I understand that I'm being lied to about a lot of things, and a lot of people don't.
Yes.
A lot of people are, honestly being deceptive because they believe the wrong thing, or are actively being deceptive because they're trying to cover their own trail. And there's a lot of people perpetrating what I would classify as evil through, war crimes and through abuses of others and abuses of power and manipulation. But at the end of the day, I only have power here. I only have power with what's going on in my immediate sphere. Looking on the internet and reading texts and looking at old news articles, besides giving me an appreciation for the amount of deception and misinformation that actually is out there, didn't really improve my day-to-day life in any meaningful way. Yeah. So I've kind of just stopped paying attention. And I don't know whether that's good or bad, but what it has allowed me to do is become less pessimistic. It's allowed me to focus more on what I'm grateful for. Yeah. Yep. As I mentioned last episode, it's like I kind of slipped into a bliss mode there for a while. Yeah. And that's a much higher frequency to operate from. That's a much more pleasant place to be, and a more impactful place to be. Yeah. Because I'm actually feeling motivated and driven and like, I want to go get this. I can go get this. I am going to do this and work towards these changes. Yeah. Well, and then I think you become part of the solution rather than the problem. Yeah. Because one of the things that I was going to ask that I wrote down in my contemplation was, I know the answer from me, but do you think, what we think, what we focus on, create reality? Chaos is the abyss. And when you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back into you. I think part of focusing so much of your time and energy on the negativity also, understanding it is crucial. Accepting that it exists is crucial. Yeah. But if you dwell there for too long, it's going to start to seep into you as well. Yeah. And it's like we've seen this with, your uncle, my older brother. It's like all he does is have a diet of this conspiracy theory. And I say, and I have no judgment about that. That there's real stuff out there for sure. However, in his case, I've watched it just completely debilitate him. And he lives in a world, in my opinion, of just fear and doom and gloom. And it's not productive. Yeah. It's not creative. It's not like building beautiful things for the world and for people. It's literally tearing things down in anger and fear. Well, when you believe the world is going to end, why would you bother to build anything? Yeah. It's just going to get destroyed anyways. Yeah. And if everybody lived like that, I think the world would actually be destroyed. I agree too. There has to be the creative force. There has to be people inspired by building from inspiration and beauty in order to keep this beautiful world going. And I think you and I are both in agreement that doesn't mean we're like, there's a word called spiritual bypass, or that you're bypassing or hiding from the truth and what's real out there, or being all like, everything's great and wonderful. And my mom we used to call it like Pollyanna glasses. There was this movie way back when about the rose-colored glasses. Like, everything's lovely. And I think we're in agreement, like, we're not about living in that state of being at all. But I always come back to is like, how can I live the most productive life? And I do believe that what we focus on creates our reality. I've lived it. I've watched it in my own world. Like, even this last week, from me just shifting, being aware of my own perception and how I'm doing to everybody else what I think they're doing to me. Just that small shift. I've been noticing that there's more ease, more beauty. There's more, like, I am even noticing that people around me don't seem to be as negative, because I'm not. If I'm creating my reality of what we're
stewing on or thinking about can change how we feel, then it changes everything around us too. I don't know. So. It's been really interesting.
It is. I had a similar realization also, looking into quote unquote conspiracies for so long. There was a day where I was finally like, maybe by focusing on this so much, I'm just giving these people more power.
Exactly.
I'm believing in them. And belief's a real thing,
Yeah.
It's an empowering thing. So I was like, why would I give these people or the possibility of these people my energy? It's like, they don't deserve my energy. My energy is valuable to me. My energy can be used constructively in this planet. Let's make a podcast. Let's go try to invent something. Let's go help
our neighbor.
Let's go to work and put window coverings in and make a paycheck. Let's
where can I donate my time and energy and money to people? Like, that's what I do.
Yep.
And how can we be of service?
Yep.
And even just recently, by looking at all these ways, like even in my body has felt less painful since I've been like, I guess what it is about equal time, because I don't want it to be all good. I want it to be like everything's perfect and doesn't hurt and there's no contrast. I just want it to be more imbalanced. Mm-hmm. I guess what I feel like on the world, it's way out of balance. Like all we do is like we have a diet of negativity 24/7. If it really takes perseverance to not just look at what's effed up everywhere all the time. It's like, and nature really helps with that. But just since I've changed my perspective of like, okay, well, what do I like about my clients? And I'll name off, 10 things. Well, what do I like about today? What's feeling good and right in my body? Where have the solutions come to me? And it's a weirdest thing, but life seems to be magically better. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the placebo effect. If it is, I don't really care because it feels better.
Yeah.
And even as far as like the thing that I said about Christians, it's like I take personal responsibility there too, because I think everybody absolutely has the right to be and do and believe whatever they want to do and believe. And again, I always think it's my work, like what is it that I can do to shift to not let things bother me so much. Like,
well,
everybody's got to just walk.
It's not even Christians that are the problem. It's hypocrisy.
It is hypocrisy.
And there's hypocrisy in all beliefs
and
in
everything.
all walks
Exactly.
of life.
And hypocrisy in myself.
It annoys me too. And that's why it annoys you, is because it makes you look at your own hypocrisy.
Exactly.
Like, damn it.
So thank you, everybody. Anyway, I think that's about it,
Okay.
I don't know. I think that feels pretty good.
It does feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's given me some more to think about and
feel about.
Yeah, it's given me some more to feel about, and I want to continue it this next week. Is I really do want to continue to practice looking, like bringing my life into balance, like giving equal time to what's right as well. And that's what I do for a living, though, I have to say. It's like when I go into people's houses or offices, they're not paying me to go in and look at everything that's working. I'm going and being like, okay, what's out of balance? What's, where's the flow not happening? Where do they need some cleanup? Where's the energy stuck? And then I go in. So it's kind of like been my default too. So it's like, how to use it in a positive way, but not get stuck and let everything be like, I gotta fix it. Where's it broken? That's a
good point.
Where's it broken? Where's it broken?
I think almost everybody's job is finding out what's fucked up and fixing it. Nobody goes to work just like, hey, my work just wants me to look at what's beautiful. It's like, no, you have to go deal with fucking problems all day. That's what we get paid for.
I know. So it's a strange matrix, right? It's a strange setup. Yeah. And how to work that too. So anyway, I'm going to go into this week giving equal time to that and keep, and it is, one more thing I want to say, and it is interesting because it's so much easier just to let myself slide into what I don't like about things. It's so easy to slip in that. Like this last week, as I've been practicing this tool, it's challenging. It takes a lot more effort to look at what's working in the world or my life. I mean, I can just let go right now. And it's like, whoosh.
So what's wrong with that and this and the other?
This mic keeps falling down, damn it.
Damn it. The sun's too bright.
Yeah. My butt hurts on this chair. No.
Yep.
The good
Yep.
things, great conversation. My
Gratitude
heart's
is
open.
important. Gratitude is important.
The sun's out.
Never really known why exactly, but I think it is for that reason.
Yeah.
It's ability and a moment to
Yeah.
appreciate all the things that are right. Put yourself
Yeah.
in that more positive mindset. And then, like attracts like. You start to think more positively of the world.
Yes.
And when I do, from experience, more positive things do seem to happen.
Yeah.
So it's good tapping into that.
Yeah.
It's good giving thanks, whether
Yeah.
that's for a meal, for a good conversation, for
Yeah.
a beautiful place to hang out for a bit.
Yeah.
There's, this world
Just the fresh air to
gives
breathe.
us free air, free
Yeah.
water, free food. Now, the grocery stores don't want you to know that, but you could just grow your own food. It comes free from the dirt. You put some seeds in there, and then poof, voila.
Yeah, there's 100 different.
This world provides.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's pretty damn
And you'll
cool.
find whatever you're looking for. That's the other thing. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it. So what do you want to look for? You want to look for problems. I need more struggle. No, I do not.
Nope.
I need more joy,
None of us do.
more peace. Anyway, I think that's a good place.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. I have some lovely tea. I'm going to get into the day. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Oh, and if you want to check out, it's HeartMath Solutions. I'll see if we can post that name at the bottom. So if you want to check out that book,
Cool.
it's interesting. It's very scientific nerdy, though. It's like, I love
All you
it.
nerds out there. I'm someone. Catch you down the road.
I'm Anezka. Thank you so much for joining us. Big love and be well. Yay. I have my tea here to finish.